Hello, and welcome to Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter, a podcast where Dr. O from All Creatures Every Spine interviews doctors and animal owners that utilize animal chiropractic to get their unique perspectives. Yes, it's really a thing. Dr. O utilizes his 30 years of experience as both an animal chiropractor and veterinarian, and to dig deep into the discussion of complex issues affecting the lives of your animal friends and companions. Join us for this educational episode. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the episode as Dr. O begins to answer the question, what is animal chiropractic? He will look at how the chiropractic adjustment is a valuable and viable treatment for what ails your animals.
Animal chiropractic. People ask all the time, what does animal chiropractic treat? And the answer is nothing and everything. And I know that's vague and people get frustrated with that. But animal chiropractic and the goal of animal chiropractors is not to treat any disease or symptom. The treatment of disease and symptoms are side effects of animal chiropractic. I know that sounds a little different. Here's the thing. Animal chiropractic is geared at maintaining the optimal functioning nervous system in an animal. That allows the body's brain, the animal's brain, to communicate with all the organs, the feet, to know where they're at, which is very important for optimal performance and function. If the brain doesn't know how much food is in the stomach, it might produce too much or too little stomach acid, leading to an ulcer. If the brain doesn't know exactly where the legs are, where the feet are, it can lead to things like fractured legs or strained ligaments or bowed tendons. If the brain is perceiving pain that isn't there, it will be a cause of chronic stress, and the animal will be in a fight or flight. So what my job as an animal chiropractor is to go in and identify and remove vertebral subluxations in animals. These are places where the vertebral bodies don't move exactly correctly. They may be stuck to the right, they may be stuck in neutral, stuck to the left. They just don't move correctly. And that lack of movement causes all kinds of problems, because movement is life, especially for not only for animals but for the cartilage. Cartilage requires movement to get nutrients and to get rid of waste products. So if there's no movement in a particular joint, the cartilage in that joint will start to become damaged. We know this damage happens, very quickly. Within 3 to 7 days, we'll see changes that remain around for a long time. So it's very important that we keep our animals adjusted, keep that cartilage moving well, so that it doesn't become damaged and end up with problems like OCD, arthritis, problems like that. Because when we have these problems on down the line, then we get to where we have more injuries, we have more systemic problems, more chronic problems. If we can keep the animals adjusted, keep everything maintaining right, keep the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system, the fight and flight, keep that balanced to where the animal's able to enjoy its life instead of always being on edge, always being on guard, then everything will be better. So my job as an animal chiropractor is to restore movement in your animal's spine. And when we do this, sometimes it does. It takes care of problems like lamenesses. But a lot of times, I've had clients come in and say, my dog's tail didn't curl right, and now it does. My dog had ear infections, and now he doesn't. My dog had some skin problems, and those went away. And, the only reason I really came in to see you was because my dog was having trouble getting up and down the stairs, and all these other things got taken care of. And I'm like, well, all we did was restore movement to the spine. And even getting up and down the stairs was a side effect of the chiropractic adjustment. And so with that, those side effects, your animal is living a more carefree life and more likely and able to adapt to its surroundings in what you consider an appropriate manner, because it is more appropriate. And that's what the human-animal bond is all about. Being able to spend quality time with your animals in an environment where you're both happy. So, chiropractic, experience the side effects. Have a great day.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing.
Hey, just a quick reminder, we have several events coming up soon. We have the advanced Atlas adjusting for dogs coming up in March. We have the advanced Atlas adjusting for horses coming up this summer. And then, of course, we have our food animal coming up in the fall. So go to the website, www.animalchiropracticeducation.com. Take a look, find those things, sign up. If you're not already certified, then you want to take Animal Chiropractic 101. That starts the day you sign up. You can become certified if you're a veterinarian or a chiropractor. You can become certified in as little as a couple months. So go ahead, take a look at the website, and thanks for tuning in.
Join us as Dr. O interviews a certified chiropractor, veterinarian, or an animal owner. These enthusiastic people explain how they utilize animal chiropractic to alter the lives of the animals in their communities.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. I'm Dr. O, and today I'm here with Dr. Monica. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport. So the main campus. I've been working on animals for about 2.5 years now. And what else do you want to know?
So why did Dr. Monica decide to become certified in animal chiropractic?
Yeah, so I was that typical girl that I always wanted to be a veterinarian. Always, always, always. And then as I got through undergrad and I went through applying to vet school, I kind of had this gut feeling that it just wasn't the right place for me. Mm-hmm. So I actually took 1.5 years off of school, and I had a friend that I was training barrel horses with introduced me to animal chiropractic. She goes, I just feel like this is you. And so I kind of looked into chiropractic school and then shotgun applied because it all sounded great. And then as I was going through Palmer, I got hooked up with our animal chiropractic club. And that's how I learned about ACEs and just everything I learned. That gut feeling that I had when I knew I wasn't supposed to go to vet school was the exact opposite. And I felt like this was my place. Like these were my people. This is what I was supposed to do. And this is how I really felt that I wanted to care for our animals. So this is how I found my love, and just the results that I see from the animals I've worked on. Like I've worked on some of my friends' animals, and a lot of times I go to their homes. So when I sit at home, I'm not the animal chiropractor that I come and I like get down to business. I kind of sit and let the animal get used to me first. But now I can walk into their homes, and even if I'm not there to see their animal, I'll sit down and the animal comes up to me. And I've had dogs that sit with their butt towards me, and they look at me like, aren't you here for me? And I love that. I love that my own dogs will come up to me and I can just tell, like, I've had it where I talk with my hands a lot, and my yellow lab, I'll like have my hands out and I'll be talking to him and be like, what do you want? And I'll like give him a like, what? And he'll put his head in my hands. Like, Mom, this needs to be fixed. Like, I don't feel right. Like, and they non-verbally communicate with us that way. And that communication I've had with animals and that connection that I've had with the animals is really what feeds my passion and feeds my fire.
Cool. So animal chiropractic, the animals, once they get adjusted, they kind of get addicted, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And they know, and they'll tell you, they'll show you, like, I don't feel right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So what's your biggest win with an animal?
I had to say my biggest win is, so I had a colleague come to me and say, hey, I have this kitten and he's just not doing right. Like, we have another cat and she's always developed really well, but for some reason this kitten he like can't have a solid poop. He's not eating very well and he's just getting skinnier and skinnier by the day. And so the vet was kind of on their last resort. And he said, can you come look at it at least? And so I went out and interacted with the cat a little bit and had a huge sacrum listing and a huge atlas listing. So that's all I adjusted on this cat for probably once a week for a little while. And slowly he started having more solid poops and he was eating a lot better. And I mean, this cat was pretty lethargic the first time I saw him. So when I like started coming to see him, and then all of a sudden he's attacking my feet as I walk through the door, and I was like, this isn't the same cat that I met a couple weeks ago. And we did work with his diet a little bit too. We switched him to raw food and a lot of other things. But really, it was essentially just doing atlas and sacrum at first, and he bounced back. And I've had so many times that this colleague has said, like, we're not sure he would have survived. And then months later, so we're in a group of chiropractors. So I was on Facebook or on Instagram, and someone had posted about, like, hey, you can get your animals adjusted too. And was talking about this story. And they're like, yeah, our friend had this kitten and this animal chiropractor came out and really just adjusted a couple of segments. And, it went from one that they didn't think was going to survive to like later. And I connected with her through something else. And she goes, are you that animal chiropractor? And she was just amazed. And she's like, talk sometimes. And I was like, yeah, anytime, like, let me know.
Well, cool. So, yeah. And so what do you wish animal owners knew about animal chiropractic?
I wish they knew that we weren't a last resort, that we can be part of your preventative management for your animal. Because I think a lot of times they come to us when they're really in pain, or I don't want to do surgery. But instead let's talk about the times when your animal is not behaving quite right and you pick that up. Maybe that's when I should come out, not when he can't walk anymore. I mean, I love those miracle stories, I do, but I do also love just coming out and interacting and, okay, so maybe we're not jumping up on the couch anymore. Maybe we're not greeting you at the door. Why? Like, I can help you before it becomes a bigger problem. And that's what I like to convey to my clients.
Cool. So now, miracles. Is it truly a miracle or is it just chiropractic?
It's just chiropractic, but to the outside eye, a lot of times it's seen as these miracle events. But yes, it's definitely it's philosophy. It's chiropractic,
So in your words, what is chiropractic?
Chiropractic is a hands-on way to restore the communication to the brain, to the rest of the body. It's to make sure that we live with that communication and our body can properly talk to itself and tell itself what's wrong and what we need fixed and how we can heal ourselves.
Cool. What do you wish like other chiropractors that aren't certified knew about animal chiropractic?
I wish that they knew that it is not the same. Um, just because you can adjust a human does not mean that you should adjust an animal. There's a big difference. I mean, there's a reason why we spend 280 hours doing continuing education. And even then, sometimes I still go back to my anatomy book or my lessons from ACEs, you know, my notes from ACEs. I mean, my husband is a chiropractor and we lived separated for 8 months. And so he had one of our dogs and I had one of our dogs. And there would be times that I'd Zoom them or I'd FaceTime them and I'd go, you know, Blue's puppy sitting again. And he goes, I'm not touching that. I mean, he's one of the best chiropractors I know. He's my chiropractor, right? So I have a lot of faith in him, but he wouldn't touch our dogs. You know, he'll bring them to me first, you know, hey, he fell down the steps, like check out his pelvis, you know. So you need to know that it's not the same. And it's not just rack and cracking an animal too. Get them to the proper animal chiropractor, someone that has dedicated their life to it. There's other things that the owners like to talk to me about, just like there's other things you talk to a patient about when you're taking care of them. So my 10th trimester at Palmer, we were doing a lot of online stuff, and I gave an hour-long presentation to a group of students about why the human chiropractor should not adjust animals until they're certified. It's more than what you think.
Cool. What do you wish veterinarians knew about animal chiropractic?
We can be a very good asset. We can help a lot of your clients in ways that you may not think. I'm not trying to take over what you do because I have a high respect for you and I have a high respect for the veterinary profession. I almost went into it. I just knew it wasn't my place and it's not my type of medicine. But I can be a good partner and I'd love to partner with as many of them as I can. And I love having the conversation with them because a lot of them are like, hey, I have a dog with hip dysplasia. And that's great. I'd love to see that dog. But I'd also like to see the dog that you may not think that chiropractic would be the best fit for, but it is.
So cool. So I'm an animal owner. What are a couple things I can do to know if my dog needs to go see the chiropractor?
One of my big examples is Diesel, my dog, is a yellow lab. And a lot of times he's off leash. So he's 7 now. So we have a 45 acres and he's an off leash dog. And one of my biggest examples for him is that when we're out in the field, he's really good at snapping to command. But as soon as that snap to command is a few seconds off, I know he needs adjusted. So it can be as simple as, I'm not listening to you as well.
Okay.
Like I've stated, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm not greeting you at the door anymore. I don't want to jump on the couch and cuddle you. If Diesel didn't jump on the couch and cuddle with me, I know exactly what's his problem. You know, as much as we definitely don't like the jumping up on other people, but if that's a common behavior for them, it can be something as much as, I don't want to jump up on you anymore. Mm-hmm. With horses that I see, I've talked to a couple owners about where they've just brought up while I'm sitting in our human clinic, hey, like I can't tell if it's the front end of my horse or the back end of my horse. And I've talked about, well, does he make the lead rope a little bit more tight when you're walking up the hill or down the hill? Because she was talking to me about how there's a little decline going out of the barn. Mm-hmm. And I go, which way is it harder to get the horse, in the barn or out of the barn? And she was like, oh, well, I think it's out of the barn, actually. He does pull a little bit. And I go, well, then he can't control going downhill very well. So his front end is having the problem. And I didn't even see that horse, but a lot of times I do talk about behavior, and I talk about difference in just the normal everyday that your animal has.
Cool. All right. So we talked about your biggest win. Tell us about the one that you wish you had another shot at.
The one I wish I had another shot at. It's a group of them. So in the beginning of seeing animals, I saw a lot more dogs because I was in the city. So it was a group of Chihuahuas, and it was mom and dad and then 3 babies, and they were all at the same home. And we just had one that like the father was the dog that would sit in front of me, and he did, at first never wanted me to touch him, but the mother of the litter, she had a lot of problems, and it ended up that we all moved away. I moved from the city and they moved away, but I really wish I could have gotten her under some consistent care, because we saw a lot of problems with, like, she had flea treatment, and so she had a seizure after that. And you could just tell that there were some issues that I could have worked out, and I wish I was more consistent with that, and I could have stayed closer and kept that case.
So basically, we need owners to understand too that chiropractic is not a process. It's or not a procedure. It's a whole process, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting coming from the chiropractic world, like and I had a conversation with a student recently, because I'm still connected with a lot of the students at Palmer, that chiropractors will notice that about their human patients, and they'll know that I can't tell my patient, you're going to walk out here pain-free after one adjustment. We're going to have to work with this. This is going to be a care plan, but even the chiropractors won't, like the clients that I have that are chiropractors, they won't recognize that either. Like, oh, you can come adjust my dog once and he's great. He's perfect. And it's like, no, I adjust my own dogs weekly.
Right.
And they have some chronic issues. So, and I know, I mean, I can tell the difference if I skip a Wednesday, like they all get adjusted on Wednesday. And I know the difference the next day if, yesterday was Wednesday and I forgot. Like,
yeah, they're like, oh, okay, all right. So, students. So the students that we have some. One of the things about ACEs is that it's at your own speed. So veterinarians and chiropractors, veterinary students, chiropractic students can enroll, and they take it at their own speed. But we have some people that drag it out, don't get to module 1, the first lab. What words of advice would you have to those students?
Remember why you started. Keep that fire going. I mean, once you learn how to adjust, so once you go to that module 1, get your hands on whatever you can and keep that fire alive, because there was a reason why you started. And if you're not making it through those modules, really drink in some of that material, because there's some awesome things to learn just from lectures, let alone the weekends. And then also maybe talk to some of the people that have gone through the modules. Lab weekend at ACES is exhausting, but it's exciting. And I've told people that too, like, you learn so much material in such a small period of time, but drink as much of that in as possible, and maybe take the day off after you come back because you might need it. But you learn so much, and it's so worth it.
Good. So you went to Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
How did the philosophy between ACES and Palmer work?
There were definitely some similarities and some differences. Again, we're talking about different species, so right. that has something to do with it too. I do think that Palmer does do a good job at keeping most of our philosophy alive, and there's some key professors that are doing that. But I also think that we all need to learn to branch out of our little Palmer bubble, because there's much to learn from everybody else as well. The philosophy that you and Dr. Amy have are one of the big reasons why I went to ACEs, and one of the big reasons why I will not recommend any other program. And I mean, I've told people, you have to hear them talk. Like, you have to hear Dr. O and Dr. Amy talk, especially some of the stories that you tell us just first lab. And I've told people too, Dr. Amy and Dr. O talk more tick than some chiropractors I know, which is amazing. And you really got to listen. You just have to hear the two of you talk, and the passion that you guys have. It also keeps my fire alive, and I love it.
Well, good.
That's why you can't kick me, Dr. O.
All right. So we know about chiropractic, but how has animal chiropractic, changed your life?
It allowed me, so I've always felt like I'm a city girl, but for some reason I was drawn to large animals. I've ridden horses my whole life. I have this wild connection with animals. And I've always felt that. Like I said, I like to talk about my gut feeling a lot, and I do play into that. My whole life has been my gut feeling. And I get that with animals. Like, I just have this innate connection with them. And animal chiropractic has changed my life, because now I get to serve them in a way that I feel like feeds that innate connection. Like I said, I mean, your dog might be friendly to every dog, but how many of them do come up to them and ask to be adjusted? I mean, whose animals do that? But they do that for me. And I've had animals that are biters, nippers, act crazy, and they'll calm down around me. And I love that connection. And I love that I get to feed the animal community that way.
So cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing.
Helping others experience an abundant life with the gift, art, and blessing that is animal chiropractic is our sole mission at ACES. It's what we do. It's what we love. It truly is what keeps us motivated to help people just like you. I truly love the art of chiropractic. It drives me to providing the highest level of chiropractic possible. And as fellow chiropractic business owners, it's that love that drives us to become better. However, the reality is that sometimes running a successful business can be challenging. Sometimes there can be obstacles to overcome, right? Yeah, we all know the old saying, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Well, one thing that is really easy is marketing our clinic with a professional animal chiropractic website by the Chiro website pro, Tony Seymour. He's a professional web designer, and his team at the Chiro website pro take good care of us. They simply make marketing our practice 100% hassle-free. If you're looking for the number one hands-free way to market your practice, give the Chiro website pro a call at 423-779-4630, or simply visit www.chirowebsitepro.com. And make sure you ask them about the special ACES discount, and let them know Dr. O sent you. You'll be glad. Glad you did.
Welcome to Dr. O's Opus of Animal Chiropractic. Chiropractic consists of 3 parts: the art, the science, and the philosophy. This last segment of today's podcast is loaded with the philosophy and principles of animal chiropractic.
All right. So today's opus is going to be short and sweet. It's the Atlas. The Atlas controls everything. It is. I mean, we've had students come here that have been adjusting for animals for a long time. We talked about why it's the Atlas, how it's the Atlas, how they can tell it's the Atlas. Do some show me chiropractic. Show them how to evaluate the Atlas before and after. How to show the client the Atlas, and they go home, adjust the Atlas, and send us text messages and say, you know what, it is the Atlas. Over 100 years ago, D.D. and B.G. Palmer developed this thing called chiropractic, and it has evolved a little bit. The basic premise is not the same. It's still the same, sorry. We find and remove vertebral subluxations. The science has been proven to work. There's all kinds of referee journals that have references in there. Anybody can download a book called The Reality Check by Heidi Havoc out of New Zealand. There's the Vertebral Subluxation Research Foundation here in the U.S. that's amazing. That prints, all kinds of stuff. McCoy Publishing. If you doubt that there is animal chiropractic and chiropractic research out there, you're just looking in the wrong place. We have some links on our website, animalchiropracticeducation.com, where you can find some references if you're in doubt. Everybody says, well, prove it, show it to me. I did the work, I found it. It's pretty easy to find. All you got to do, I'm telling you how to find it. Just go to those places, look it up, and you can find the proof that animal chiropractic works. It's the Atlas, the adjustment, And the other thing is, for me, it's what we call evidence-based medicine. I can't tell you how many animals have come to me, and I have over 120 cases written, done, before and after videos of my own clients, and then there's numerous animal chiropractors that have even more, where these animals come in, last-ditch effort, they get adjusted, and they're better. Does it happen overnight? Sometimes. Does it happen one adjustment? Sometimes. But sometimes it takes more. But animal chiropractic, it works. Get your animals adjusted and make sure they're adjusting the Atlas. Have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the ACES channels so that you never miss an exciting episode.